In agriculture news from agview.net, the latest world agriculture supply and demand estimates were released by the USDA, and it reduces projected corn use and calls for lower soybean imports. Well, this month, 2018-19 Corn Outlook projects lower feed and residual use, reduction in corn use for ethanol and exports, and larger stocks. The season average corn price received by producers unchanged at a midpoint of $3.55 a bushel. Meanwhile, soybean supply and use changes for the 2018-19 year include lower imports, higher seed use, and lower ending stocks. Soybean imports also reduced in line with reported trade through January. The season average soybean price forecast $8.35 to $8.85 a bushel, unchanged from the past month. Now, the wheat outlook unchanged with supplies, but reduced exports and domestic use. Season average farm price raised a nickel to the midpoint of $5.20 a bushel. Now, the cotton supply and demand forecast show lower consumption and higher ending stocks relative to last month. The season average farm price unchanged, a midpoint of 70 cents a pound. And finally, the 2019 forecast for total red meat and poultry production lowered from last month on lower expected beef, pork, and broiler production. Well, March flooding throughout the Midwest has caused shortages of ethanol as production was reduced, and the threats of more flooding is on the way. The decreased ethanol production also fueling the increase seen in gas prices, that according to Reuters, as ethanol prices on the coast have spiked due to shortages. Now, Midwest producers have been unable to take advantage of that price increase because of the washed out rail lines. In Southern California, including Los Angeles, the ethanol shortages are one of the factors that are pushing gas prices towards a $4 a gallon mark. That's a level not seen since 2014. The multi-billion-dollar damage in March have impacted farms, homes, and infrastructure, as well as cutting ethanol production by some 13%. The biggest problem facing the industry, though, is getting ethanol to market, and that'll continue as repairs are made to railways and U.S. ethanol inventories rise to near record levels. Additionally, the storms we just experienced in the Midwest and Great Plains threaten further flooding, and it'll further impact plants and the transportation systems that they rely on. And pressure on farm finances appears likely to continue into 2019 as the U.S. baseline outlook from the Food and Agriculture Policy Institute at the University of Missouri reports. Well, that report finds projected net farm income will increase in 2019 but remain below the 2014 through 17 average. Long-term projections suggest little change in real net farm income over the next decade. That'll result in continued increases in the farm sector's debt-to-asset ratio. Projected prices for U.S. soybeans and other products affected by current trade disputes remain below levels that would prevail if foreign tariffs were removed. Stay with us. We'll have more in a moment.